Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Jackula.
And today we're going to talk about 28 years later, The Bone Temple.
Ooh, it's about people fucking.
Not quite, but it is about life. It is about death.
It is about life and death.
You know, and the apocalypse.
Yeah, but doesn't have people fucking.
Now, most of you probably know The Bone Temple is actually a sequel to 28 Years Later that came out last year.
Which was a little surprising, because we were like, wait a minute, you already came out with the sequel?
It turns out they're planning a trilogy, and this is the second part of that trilogy. Who knows when the third part's gonna come about? But astute viewers may note that we never actually got around last year to talking about the first of this reboot trilogy. I liked that movie. I thought it was pretty good. I thought the second half was stronger than the first half, but if you would like us to do a more elaborate review of that movie, comment below and let us know, because we didn't have the time to get around to that movie last year, and I kind of feel bad about that, to be honest.
Well, now I do.
Well, yeah, after having seen it finally.
After having seen it finally, I was like, because I was sort of like, the 28 series has been incredibly uneven, is what I am saying.
I really like the first one. The second one's okay. The third one, which is 28 years later, is pretty good. I think this one, The Bone Temple, is actually the best one.
Bone Temple is amazing.
This one is fucking fantastic. And I think it retroactively makes the one from last year even better, having seen this one now.
Well, yeah, because there is so much. It's so much a sequel to 28 Years Later that it's almost two halves of a single movie.
Yeah, it's almost like, you know, like Empire Strikes Back to A New Hope. It kind of like adds so much to that first movie. The biggest departure for this movie from the last movie is, first off, we got a new director. We got DaCosta of Candyman and the Marvels fame.
And the Marvels fame, yeah.
She knocks this out of the park. I would actually argue this is the best looking of the 28 years later movies. This is the first one where they didn't go for like the DV look.
Right.
They actually wanted it to look like a cinematic painting, and every frame of this movie is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, there is a point in the movie, and if you watch it, you'll know what it is, when I immediately started going, I wish I had seen this in a theater.
100%. It just looks so great. I really enjoyed this movie, and a lot of what I really enjoy about this movie is how much it expands upon the characters established in the first one.
Well, yeah, it expands on the characters established in the first one, and it really does. Like, to be fair, you really want to see 28 Years Later, which is a very good movie, so that you can watch The Bone Temple, which is an amazing movie.
There's stuff that happens in the second half of this movie that we're not going to spoil until we get to the spoiler section, but be warned, we're going to have to spoil stuff that happened in 28 years later to talk about The Bone Temple, so just know that going forward. So if you've seen 28 Years Later, we had the main character who basically went on a journey to try to save his mom and ended up encountering Ray Fiennes, who is this atheist doctor who's built this temple of bone, which when you first see it looks like a satanic fucking
it looks evil.
It looks evil, but it's actually like a monastery. It's actually like a cemetery. It's his way of...
It's an ossuary.
It's
call it.
It's his way...
Made out of bone.
It's his way of paying tribute to the dead in this apocalyptic time.
Yeah, and he's actually figured out how to keep himself immune to catching the virus randomly.
100%.
You know.
And on top of that, he has found a way to communicate with a zombie. Well, an infected,
yeah.
Because in the 28 Years Later and the 28 Days Later franchise...
Yeah, they're not undead.
They're not undead.
Crazy.
They're very much alive, but they're infected with a virus that causes them to have uncontrollable bouts of rage. That being said, both the last movie and this movie kind of introduced the fact that they still eat people like zombies.
Yes.
So I don't remember the original movies having them eat people, just kind of rip people apart.
Yeah, and this one, like, it's literally like...
That could be my false memory, because I haven't seen the first two movies in like a decade at this point, I think. So I could just be misremembering them. But in this one in particular, you literally see one of them like eating the brains out of their prey.
Yes.
So like he's found a way to communicate with one. So to a certain extent, you kind of have a plot in this movie that kind of like combines elements of like Day of the Dead and Land of the Dead, a zombie gaining like some sentience to a certain degree, or at least acknowledging that it's possible they might be able to. You also have this franchise's best villain, which, to be fair, this franchise only has like a couple of them. Like the first one has
Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah, as the evil fucking military guy. And I forget if there's a villain in the second one. Now this one introduces, actually technically the last one introduced, but we actually go into him, Jimmy Crystal, the leader of a cult of Jimmys. Everyone in his cult are young kids who identify as Jimmy, and they all wear these wigs that kind of look like him. And they are essentially a satanic cult. They believe that Satan has won the war with heaven, and Earth is now hell's domain, and Satan's demons are the infected. So they go around paying tribute to Satan by killing people and sacrificing them in ritualistic ways. And our main character at the end of the last movie ended up getting captured by the Jimmys, and in this movie, he's basically initiated into their cult, and we follow him dealing with that.
Yeah.
And Jimmy is played by Jack O'Connell of Sinners fame and Eden Lake fame.
Yes.
And he does a great job as the villain here. He's almost as good as he was in Sinners as a bad guy. And yet, it's a completely different performance. In Sinners, he was way more of like the devil himself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like he presents himself as the devil. He knows what's going on. He's going to manipulate everyone. And he's like all powerful. In this, he is a prophet of the devil.
Yeah, and but he still feels like a kid.
Yes, because he's perpetually insecure.
Yeah.
Which is a flaw that comes into play as the movie goes on and becomes more important by the time you get to the end of it. Because at the end of the day, he is a kid who suffered the zombie apocalypse during a time in which his dad was like doing like a sermon because his dad was a preacher.
Right.
And he has perpetually been traumatized by that event, has internalized that trauma in the belief of Satan taking over the world.
Yeah.
And he is Satan's son and prophet. And also he has voices in his head.
Yeah.
Which, you know, if we were in like modern medical science times, maybe he would have gotten that like medicated or something.
Yeah.
But instead, it's kind of run wild, and now he's formed this cult, and he is terrorizing people almost as much as the zombies themselves in this movie, or the infected as they were.
Yeah.
He is great. He is charismatic. Every time he's on screen, it's magnetic. You can't keep your eyes off of him, which makes him a great foil for all the other characters in this movie, especially when he comes face to face with Ray Fiennes, which we'll talk about in the spoilers section.
We'll talk about that in the spoilers.
The other thing I really like about this movie is it continues the themes of life and death from the previous movie. It's kind of like deconstructing some Christian beliefs.
Deconstructing good and evil.
Yes.
You know?
Because the original 28 years later, I say original, it's the reboot, the start of the reboot trilogy.
Start of the reboot trilogy, yeah.
In that movie, there's this underlining theming of turning points in UK's history.
Yeah.
Where they have like a choice of going towards like, you know, enlightenment or savagery. And obviously in the 28 years later times, they've gone to savagery.
They've gone to savagery, yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of parallels between that and things like Brexit in there.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't have as much of that, but it does go into like the deep roots of like Christian belief in the UK, and how those roots can sometimes be twisted into ways that become kind of evil, like how Jimmy Crystal has twisted them into this like twisted form of Satanism that he's following. That makes Ray Fiennes' character actually the perfect foil for him, because he is just a straight up atheist ex-doctor.
Yeah.
And he's also a bit of an amateur philosopher, which means that he has the capacity to actually challenge some of these more intense beliefs. Every time the two of them are talking together on screen, it's the most magnetic shit, because you have the thespian that is Ray Fiennes.
Yes.
And you have Jack O'Connell, this young actor who's coming up and is proving himself again and again. And they're both firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. It's oh man. I'm fuck Voldemort. Like, this was the role fucking dude was meant.
I actually agree. Between these two movies, I think this is one of Ray Fiennes' best performances.
It is.
And I'm including stuff from the 90s where he like literally won Oscars for it. His performance in this movie is better than this franchise deserves, is how good it is.
He elevates the movie to something that it otherwise could never be.
Absolutely. And it's phenomenal. And that's true of 28 Years Later as well. In that movie, he also elevates it. It's part of the reason why the second half of that movie is so much better than the first half.
This one, however, sings from start to finish.
Yes. And this one is also, I thought, was way more intense.
Woo!
The zombie stuff in the other one is intense enough, but like Jimmy Crystal poses like such an existential threat to the main character.
Right. Because he's not just this unthinking zombie, he's evil.
Yes, and he's calculating, and even when he's faced with like things that question his own faith, he's able to rationalize around it.
Yeah.
And able to manipulate the rest of his party around that rationalization so that they also adopt whatever the fuck rationalization he has to come up with to justify whatever the fuck he's gonna do. And he's really fucking good at it.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. It's currently available on video on demand on various services. Rent it, check it out. Trust me, it's the best movie in this franchise, in my opinion. It is top tier. And with that said, we're going to move on to the spoilers because I really do want to talk about the second half of this movie. Because the stuff with Ralph Fiennes in this second half, much like the first one, completely elevates the rest of this movie. And with that said, let's move on to the spoilers.
Poor kid gets no breaks.
No, it's just one hell out. It's like he's constantly traveling through the various circles of hell.
Yeah.
And he's reached like one of the lowest rungs with Jimmy.
Yeah, it's just really, really, really bad. He's got like no way out. He's kind of got this one friend in the Jimmy cult who's trying to figure out how to save him. Mm-hmm. And Jimmy Crystal. Mm-hmm.
Lord Jimmy Crystal. Who bases his entire cult off of the Teletubbies.
Yes.
Everyone has like a Teletubby like persona to them. And one of them even does the Teletubby dance.
The Tinky Winky dance.
Because when the apocalypse first happened, he was watching the Teletubbies when it happened.
Yeah.
And it's the last thing he fucking remembers from life before everything went to hell.
One of the cultists' earlier spies, Ralph Fiennes. And one of the things that Ralph Fiennes has discovered is that if he covers himself in iodine, the virus can't break the iodine barrier.
The iodine kills the virus and stops it from infecting a person.
Yeah, so he's constantly covered in this stuff.
Which can't be good for his skin.
Which probably isn't good for him, but whatever. Whatever. He doesn't look like he's in great health anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's the apocalypse. No one is.
No one is, yeah. So she sees him walking around the Bone Temple.
The Bone Temple.
And when Jimmy is sort of like, I'm pronouncing the judgment of old Nick upon you, this cultist goes, well, wait a minute, why don't we just ask the devil?
Yes. Because what would you think if you saw a guy who was painted in all red in this bone temple communing with one of the infected zombies?
Yeah.
Like it was his best friend?
Ralph Fiennes is having this relationship with this one infected that he calls Samson, who's this big dude.
Which, like bringing in some like religious, like...
Yeah, we're bringing in the religious imagery.
Yep.
And he's like, what do you mean ask him? Like, no one sees Satan. She's like, I saw him. He had red skin. He walked around a throne of bone.
He was communing with his general.
With this general demon. At this point, Jimmy Crystal's like, what?
What the hell?
What the fuck? Fine, let's go see this devil of yours.
Yep.
And they see him and he's like, holy shit.
You could see Jimmy having a crisis of faith in that moment.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting one because he is a true believer in Satan, but he's also very aware that there's a lot about what he's taught these guys that's pure bullshit.
Yeah.
There's the stuff that he believes is true, but he's also very much manipulating his cult. So he's confronted with the prospect of Satan not only being on Earth, but being right in front of him and now having to face all of his lies.
Yeah.
But also having to face the person he truly believes is his father.
Yeah.
So he has to find a way to rationalize and explain this to his party while also going to confront Satan and see for himself the wretched truth.
Yeah. Jimmy quickly figures out, oh, okay, this is just a guy.
Just a guy, atheist doctor. He's built this, monastery of the dead. He's a little weird, little eccentric, but he's not Satan. But I need to continue to manipulate my cult.
Yeah.
So if you don't go along with me and pretend to be Satan so I can continue to manipulate them, I'm going to feed you your own intestines.
Yeah, I'm going to kill you.
I'm paraphrasing. That's basically what he fucking said. And so this leads to an amazing final act of this movie.
Yeah, because now Ray Fiennes got to figure out how to fucking get out of this one.
Yes.
You know, and he comes to the conclusion that what he needs to do is essentially throw a heavy metal concert.
Yup. He's got to become Satan, and by doing that, he throws this heavy metal concert using The Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Which he blasts because, as established earlier in the movie, and also in the other 28 years later
he has
movie,
a collection of old 80s records.
Yup, and he's got
that he listens to constantly.
Yup. 100%. He's also got a record player that he has. That it's a crank one. It's an old crank one. If you crank it enough, it'll keep playing. So even without power, it'll still go.
Yeah.
He uses that and some of the drugs that he's concocted, which he sprays in all their faces like a shaman.
Yeah.
And gets them all high to make them more susceptible to his like satanic antics. He paints himself up to look like Satan. He's got like a fire staff.
Yeah, he's got like a fire stick that like has embers in it that explode around him.
And he does like fire dancing tricks.
Yeah, while singing Number of the Beast.
Now understand, most of these kids in this cult were either born after the apocalypse or were born so right before the apocalypse happened that they're way too young to remember anything beforehand.
Yeah. They don't know pyrotechnics. They don't know heavy metal.
They don't know record players.
They know record players.
To them, they are seeing Satan.
Yeah. They're like, oh shit, he's real.
And what I love about this is that this turns into a power play mind game between Jimmy and Ray, and he manages to essentially trick the cult into crucifying Jimmy.
Yes.
Because he's his prophet on earth, and much like Jesus, he must
be sacrificed.
Die for his dad. Die for the sins, so to speak. Which was a great fucking way to turn this all around.
Yeah. And of course, things don't go quite to plan.
No, he ends up getting injured in the process, but the main character ends up surviving along with the one friend that he's made.
Yeah, the one friend that he's made.
The way. They end up going off, and it's implied that they're going to run into Cillian Murphy from the first movie.
Very first movie. Yeah.
Which is a cool, like, nice callback. It makes me kind of look forward to the third movie to see him come back. And Samson shows up. And there's this whole subplot happening throughout the movie where Ray Fiennes has figured out that, first off, Samson really likes the darts that he shoots him with.
Yeah.
Because he has these like trank darts that he uses on the infected so that when they come after him, they won't hurt him and he can continue about his day.
Yeah.
And he figures out that Samson actually starts approaching him to get the darts.
Yeah.
He essentially becomes Samson's drug dealer. Because if you remember in the first 28 days later, it's a rage virus. It's not a zombie
they're not
infection.
Undead. Yeah.
They're alive, but they're infected with such rage, it causes them to just lash out on everything. So he kind of figures out that this concoction that he's put together soothes that rage enough to where Samson is a little bit more susceptible to things.
Yeah, he's a little bit calmer, a little bit more rational.
Absolutely. And so he kind of forms this friendship with High Samson, which leads to him figuring out some things about how he might find a way to potentially cure the infection, or at least make the infected more cognizant of themselves.
Yeah.
So that they can be in more control, even if they still are somewhat.
Yeah. He figures out that they must be like delusional.
Yeah.
There must be a delusion to the virus.
Now everything with Jimmy ends up speed running this whole thing, so he kind of has to give Samson the full dose of what he was planning on doing instead of giving him like piecemeal. And this ends up essentially making Samson completely cognizant.
Yeah. He gets some of his memories back, but like he regains his humanity.
Yeah, he reconnects with his old self, which actually makes the other infected turn on him. And he used to be an alpha.
Yeah. He used to be the guy in charge.
Which is something that I think 28 years later actually introduced. I don't remember alphas being in the first.
No, they weren't in the first. They weren't in the first one.
Again, I could be misremembering. It's been about a decade since I've watched either of them, but I don't remember them having alphas. So that's like a new thing. And so he is not quite infected, but he's also not quite human.
Yeah.
He walks between two worlds.
Yeah. Samson reappears. He's covered in blood, so Samson is red. The way he looks makes it look like he has horns on his head.
Yep.
And so Jimmy is like, oh shit!
It's the devil.
devil.
Anyway, my fellow Gorehounds, I fucking love the Bone Temple.
I really love the Bone Temple, and I notoriously do not care for the 28 series.
Yeah, which says a lot about this movie. That's how good this movie is. Y'all know me, I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on various social media platforms, but these days I primarily use Blue Sky, so follow me on there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way, but we will certainly accept more. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, if you made it this far into the video, then I want you to comment below, and be sure to comment below using the hashtag #TheNumberOfTheBeast, the classic Iron Maiden song, and a thematically relevant concept for this movie.
Yes.
Peace out, and we'll catch y'all later.